Good morning, everyone. This is Mike Bevilacqua, the Vice President of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our annual Energy and Environmental Conference. We appreciate you all joining us this morning. We want to say a special thank you to the Secretary for taking the time out of her schedule to be with us this morning to answer your questions, to talk about what's going on with the state in terms of energy and the environment. So thank you very much. The Merrimack Valley Chamber has been heavily involved in energy and environmental issues. Just a few years back, we had our own energy program, a pilot program, the only one that was doing something like that in the state, in the country, I'm sorry, which Mass DOER told us. And we helped collectively save our members $30+ million over the next 30 years in energy savings through different programs, different resources, different items that were available to them in their businesses. So energy is a key component to the Merrimack Valley Chamber, and we love having this program each and every year. You know, we love being in person, but you know, right now we're going to be virtual. Hopefully next year we're back in person though, and we appreciate it again, all of you joining us. And just one last thing I want to mention: the Merrimack Valley Chamber has a number of webinars coming up, which are beneficial to businesses around the Merrimack Valley and the state of Massachusetts. They're completely free member benefit to register, and you can find out more about the Chamber, Merrimack Valley Chamber, and all of our programs at merrimackvalleychamber.com. With that being said, I just want to quickly introduce Joe Bevilacqua, the president of the Merrimack Valley Chamber. Just going to say a few words, and then we'll get going.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Madam Secretary, for agreeing to be a speaker at our very important Energy and Environmental Conference. I want to say thank you again to the Secretary because she has done a tremendous job in leading the energy and environmental matters before the state. As you know, the Merrimack Valley Chamber is definitely involved in this program. We actually are the recipient of the United States Environmental Protection Agency's Environmental Merit Award, which was based upon our ability to bring business and environmental issues together. We've been a leader, as Michael mentioned, with the clean energy program. And I think this program today, with the many fine speakers that are here and our sponsors, will continue that effort. And we hope to be able to bring this back in a live event as soon as we're able to. But again, I know it's going to be a tremendous program. I don't want to take any more time. I just want to say thank you to the Secretary, thank you to our speakers, thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to Rayanne and Michael for coordinating the virtual program. That's new to me, but again, I just want to say thank you again. And I think you'll see that Massachusetts is moving forward under the leadership of the governor and under the Secretary. So thank you all.
Thank you. And just the last thing I want to say before we get going is I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank our title sponsor, Columbia Gas Massachusetts, our program sponsors, All Pro Electric, the Merrimack Valley Chamber Means Business Program, and National Grid. And with that being said, I just want to introduce our other speakers today also, Linda Soucy, who is the Residential Low Income Program Manager for Columbia Gas, and Dave Gendall, who's the Customer and Community Manager for National Grid. Thank you all for joining us this morning. But with that being said, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. Again, thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to join us, Kathleen Theoharides, who is the Secretary for Energy and Environmental Affairs for the state of Massachusetts. Welcome, Secretary.
Well, thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here today, and so many residents and business owners from the Merrimack Valley. Before I begin, I wanted to take a moment to thank the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce and all of the members for your efforts to help us as a state advance on clean energy and energy efficiency goals in the Commonwealth. The importance of protecting and preserving our environment and supporting businesses across the Commonwealth has never been clearer, I think, than amid the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Baker-Polito administration has taken concrete steps to reopen the economy in a safe and measured way. Addressing the impacts of COVID-19 has been a priority for EEA during this time. But at the same time, we've continued to work to ensure a clean energy future for the state and to support businesses of all types and sizes across the Commonwealth. I think ensuring an affordable and resilient clean energy portfolio in the Commonwealth is certainly a really critical component of our long-term climate change strategy. And we've also focused on ensuring the safety and reliability of our gas pipeline system, as well as ensuring that we continue to make progress to fully restoring from the tragedy in 2018 in the Merrimack Valley. Vicki, if you can go to the next slide. I did want to start this morning with just a quick update. Oh, I'll wait till the slide changes. Is it? Just a quick update to mention on the settlement agreement that the state announced a few weeks ago related to the Merrimack Valley gas explosions. Earlier this month, the administration and the Attorney General announced an agreement with Columbia Gas that requires the company to pay $56 million for its role in the Merrimack Valley gas explosions. And so, this was a horrible and heartbreaking event and impacted thousands of families and small businesses here in this region. And the agreement will ensure that millions of dollars are invested back into the Merrimack Valley. The DPU will be reviewing the reasonableness of the proposed settlement, all of the information available to make sure it's consistent with DPU precedent and public interest. But as part of the review process, DPU will be soliciting written comments from the public and will schedule public hearings as to the proposed settlement. And if approved, the agreement would go into effect on November 1st and would resolve the Attorney General's investigation into Columbia Gas for these violations. But the funds, the piece I really wanted to focus on today is the funding that will provide debt relief to thousands of low-income gas customers, as well as enabling significant investments in energy efficiency efforts in older homes and buildings in Lawrence, Andover, and North Andover. And the agreement significantly increases resources available, especially for low and moderate income customers and non-English speaking residents to take advantage of energy efficiency measures. At the same time, Eversource has committed to meeting Columbia Gas's existing 3-year energy efficiency plan and extending the special weatherization offer in Lawrence through 2021. So I think we're looking forward to really partnering with local organizations to ensure that more residents have access to these clean energy and energy efficiency programs and are able to benefit from the results of this agreement. And at the same time, we as an administration are continuing to work to improve pipeline safety across the Commonwealth. So if you go to the next slide, Vicki, I will get into some of the programs we're going to talk about today. Today, we announced the updated SMART regulations. So as we work to build on the progress we've made towards this clean energy future, we've really focused on building a runway for the continued growth of the solar industry in Massachusetts. And the administration has supported the ongoing development of solar throughout the COVID-19 response, including offering an extension to solar project developments and classifying solar development construction as essential work, which has been critical to the industry. Back in April, we filed emergency regulations related to the Smart Solar Incentive Program. I think notable updates to the regulations included a couple of things. First, they included expanding the capacity of the program significantly by 1,600 megawatts, so up to 3,200 megawatts, and that's double what our initial changes proposed. This also would expand eligibility for low-income projects, promote solar paired with storage, and then include some modifications to preserve the Commonwealth's natural resources so that more of the projects are done closer to urban areas and on parking lots and rooftops and in other places rather than all of the greenfield development projects we've seen so far. But earlier this week, as I mentioned, we announced those final updates, and these updates, we look forward to implementing them. We heard a lot from stakeholders through the public comment process. And I think the updates really attempt to balance the increasing development of solar production in Massachusetts with protecting the Commonwealth's critical natural resources and ensuring that these types of developments can be built in many different locations and different configurations around the state. It brings us to next slide, Vicki, the Clean Peak Standard, which is another policy we are working on currently. Back in March, we filed our first in the nation Clean Peak Standard. Currently, the review process for this policy is ongoing, but we anticipate the regulations will enter into effect towards the end of this month. Basically, what this policy does is it's designed to provide incentives for clean energy technologies that can supply electricity or reduce demand during seasonal periods of peak demand to reduce both emissions, which are, we have our dirtiest emissions during the highest periods of peak demand, and that's also when energy is most expensive. So this will have benefits for climate change and benefits for ratepayers. The regulation will help to reduce emissions and costs, as I mentioned, associated with those peak periods by ensuring that the deployment of energy storage and demand response resources is really targeted towards those peaks. I think the resources will enable the continued deployment of and reliance on intermittent renewables such as solar and wind. These obviously aren't continuously available throughout the day without that storage capability. The regulation has been evaluated and is projected to reduce carbon emissions by 560,000 metric tons in the first 10 years, in addition to the emission reductions provided by new and existing renewable energy resources. And again, we'll also have benefits in terms of energy resilience and ensuring continuity of energy during storm events and other type of things that sometimes interrupt energy resources. This policy and the smart policy discussed a moment ago really help us build towards the commitment Governor Baker has made to the ambitious target of getting to net zero emissions by 2050, which is really what we need to do to address the worst impacts of climate change. And so the Clean Peak Standard represents another major step forward and will make us the first in the nation to implement this type of policy. Next slide. I also wanted to touch on the commercial PACE program. This is the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy program that we are launching with Mass Development this summer. The program will provide new financing options for small businesses, for energy efficiency, for renewables, and for gas line extensions. The way the program works is it allows commercial property owners to finance improvements to an existing facility over the life of the improvement while allowing the benefits and payments to follow future buyers. The PACE loan allows owners to make upgrades to optimize energy expenses over the long term. So even if they wind up selling the property, these flow with the property. So in terms of a business applying for a PACE loan, the municipality has to adopt the program for the business to participate. And once a municipality has opted in, owners can apply through the Mass Development Finance Agency. Eligibility includes any commercial, industrial, nonprofit, or commercial family resident with 5 or more units. And so great opportunity here when it's launched later this summer. Next slide. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the MassSave incentive program for small businesses. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the MassSave program administrators have suspended all on-premise energy efficiency work since March. But the program has worked hard to implement changes to mitigate the impacts to contractors and energy efficiency programs, and virtual or on-site energy assessments are currently available with new safety protocols for on-site assessments. And so we're really encouraging folks to take advantage of those now as that ramps back up. An enhanced incentive package currently being offered as part of Program Restart covers 100% of approved measures, including lighting, thermostats, HVAC upgrades, controls, other efficiency measures for qualifying small businesses. This is an increase from the standard offering, which covers 70%. So again, great time to take advantage of this program. And there are also HVAC tune-ups available for the cooling season for businesses that are reopening. And new incentives this summer will be launched for air source heat pumps with up to $1,250 per ton for businesses converting from oil, propane, or electric resistance heating. So a lot of great opportunities here, and a good time if you are sort of in the process of reopening or looking at any upgrades to check out the incentives for small businesses through MassSave. We also, again, I mentioned the importance as we work towards this net zero emissions goal. We recently awarded through the Department of Energy Resources a Leading by Example program award of $100,000 to UMass Lowell for a feasibility grant. This grant is to help the university develop a campus-wide renewable energy master plan. It will take a comprehensive and strategic approach to assessing renewable energy options to help the campus achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And if UMass Lowell can't do this, I don't know anyone who's better suited to take on this challenge. I was up there, I think, last fall and had a great opportunity just to take a tour of some of the amazing work that is going on campus in terms of energy innovation and waste management and all sorts of other projects that really are going to have an impact on some of our energy and environmental goals in the future. And I think it really demonstrates UMass Lowell's continued leadership role in sustainability with this grant. So we've been very proud to partner with them. I think I'm speaking to a group who probably knows this very well, but they offer over 200 courses that have sustainability components, and almost 30% of the faculty is engaged in some type of sustainability research. So just a really great opportunity for partnership. And the campus recently completed a $23 million energy project, resulting in significant energy saving measures across 30 buildings on campus. So great project, great opportunity up there. Next slide. Something else we've been involved in is the Greater Lawrence Sanitary District's Organics to Energy project, which became operational back in December. This project has added significant resiliency to the facility, including the ability to produce its own energy using a renewable fuel that's produced on site and has the potential to offset nearly $3 million in terms of the annual energy bill. So a really great project in terms of both creating that site self-sufficiency and providing an outlet for diverting organics and food waste towards energy. I think this one is one where we've really been able to see the benefits of investing in energy efficiency and renewable energy and the savings that are available to an entity who is investing in these types of things. And we were proud to contribute $7 million to this project. Moving to slide 9 and grid modernization. I would like to share some steps being taken by the Department of Public Utilities in the area of grid mod. On July 2nd of this year, as part of phase 2 of our grid modernization process, the DPU opened a formal investigation into the implementation and deployment of grid modernization technologies to electric vehicle customers. I think this is really critical work that will ultimately serve to reduce the effect of power outages improve storm restoration timelines, as well as improve the electric distribution company's ability to integrate distributed energy resources onto the electric grid, and to increase the use of renewable energy, expand the adoption of electric vehicles and energy storage. So the investigation will consider a number of things. First, how to ensure that there's widespread adoption of dynamic pricing products for customers that allow them to take advantage of savings. It will also look at whether an immediate targeted deployment of advanced metering functionality to electric vehicle customers will yield benefits, potentially including both carbon reductions and also to justify the cost of implementing advanced metering. So I think we're very excited about this investigation and looking to the results for how they could inform broader scale deployment and implementation of this type of grid modernization program. Finally, moving to slide 10, I did want to touch on the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, which is obviously a big piece of our innovation goals around climate change. The work of the center in helping to support the clean tech innovation we need in the Commonwealth has been significant and continues to be a big part of our commitment to clean energy and climate change work. Much of the work that the Clean Energy Center does is actually happening in the Merrimack Valley. Since 2015, MassCEC has awarded over $2.6 million to clean energy researchers and initiatives at UMass Lowell. So again, great partnership there. They are also working with UMass Lowell on some key emerging initiatives, including offshore wind and energy storage. And I think, we often think about the South Coast or New Bedford and Fall River when we think about offshore wind, but there's really leading edge offshore wind innovation and research happening in the Merrimack Valley and especially at UMass Lowell. So another great way that offshore is going to really benefit our entire state in terms of the investments that will be made here as a result of that industry coming here. UMass Lowell has been a university co-sponsor of the WindStar Industry University Cooperative Research Center. This is a NSF-supported initiative that's conducting joint research with the industry on land-based and offshore wind. MassCEC has also awarded $1.2 million to UMass Lowell to retain the personnel and equipment from the Fraunhofer Center for Sustainable Energy Systems. That was in Boston. It closed down, but we have been able to transfer all of the great equipment and technologies for thermal materials and building integrated solar technologies to UMass Lowell, as well as the talent and investment within these areas of specialty. And so the university is now able to offer the personnel skills and equipment as a value add to the core research facilities of the university. We've also worked through MassCEC to fund a new clean energy focused lab space at the university. CEC is also funding a $100,000 study to facilitate the launch of the Energy Innovation Institute at UMass Lowell. And I think as we continue to respond to the impacts of COVID-19, continuing to invest in innovation in some of the ambitious policies I talked about will be really an important part of both that recovery, but also the look forward. I think while we've had to turn our attention to protecting the safety of residents and ensuring energy continuity, ensuring access to the outdoors, and food supply, a number of the things that have really been top of mind for the Energy and Environmental Affairs side of the House during this period, we have also really kept our eyes on the future and how we continue to make progress on our climate goals, on our clean energy goals. And as part of that, I know we'll rely on your knowledge and advocacy and also your eagerness and willingness to work with us to tackle these issues. So we really look forward to working with the Chamber and to many successful businesses here in the Valley on these important initiatives. So I just wanted to thank you again for the invitation to speak this morning. I think I'm going to take a few questions, but I will pause here for now.
Yes, thank you again. We appreciate you taking the time on your schedule to join us here today and speak to our members about the great things going on with the state in terms of energy, and thank you for your leadership with that. Thank you to also the people who submitted some questions beforehand. I'm going to read those off now to the Secretary and I'll allow you the time to answer those questions. So the first one we have is, as you know, the Commonwealth's entered a new MOU with 14 other states in DC, which set goals of reducing emissions and set a goal of at least 30% of zero emission vehicle sales by 2030 and 100% by 2050. What do you believe it will take to make that happen? And what specific actions is the Commonwealth planning to take in order to get there?
So great question. Transportation emissions and efforts to reduce those, both for climate change and also for the local air quality benefits to communities, is front and center in our climate change and clean energy strategy, and certainly front and center of the governor's mind. And so to provide a framework and help coordinate state efforts to meet these goals, the jurisdictions that were part of this announcement yesterday will work through the existing multi-state ZEV task force facilitated by NESCOM, by the Northeast States for Coordinated Air Use Management, to develop and implement an action plan going forward for trucks and buses. And we've done a lot of work on this for passenger vehicles, but trucks and buses are a great next step that we think deserve a lot of attention and focus. One of the things we have available right now that I didn't mention that you all should be aware of is we have a great ZEV incentive program. You can get $2,500 rebate on a fully electric vehicle, and I believe $1,500 on a plug-in hybrid. And it's also now available for commercial light-duty vehicles. So if you're looking to make upgrades or improvements to your fleet, great time to look at this. But this is also why the Transportation and Climate Initiative work that we've been doing is such a major priority for the administration. Transportation, as I said, it's 40% of our emissions in Massachusetts. It's only become more clear during this pandemic that clean air and less pollution lead to better public health outcomes and are critical for the well-being of our residents, particularly residents who live in more congested urban areas. And so the connections that we've seen through this pandemic in terms of air pollution and respiratory disease, especially in communities that have been disproportionately burdened by pollution, I think make our efforts to reduce emissions from this sector so critical. What TCI will do is cut these emissions while generating millions in auction proceeds, like we've seen through the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, that can be reinvested in Massachusetts to enhance our transit system infrastructure, to advance electric vehicle use and adoption, to reduce congestion, and to deliver more resilient, low carbon transportation options. And I think we've really seen this with RGGI, right? RGGI generates revenue, states invest it in things like these energy efficiency programs, like our MassSave program, that really stimulate the economy and allow us to keep up economic development while we're reducing emissions. So it's really a critical piece for us. I think on the electric vehicle side, we also continue to make investments on the state side in this. I mentioned the More EV program for rebates. We do have $27 million per year committed in that program in 2020 and 2021. And as I mentioned, expanding that program to commercial and nonprofit fleets is something new and something we're really looking forward to. So there's lots more to do to implement this MOU and the agreement. And we have our work cut out for us, but lots of ambition going into 2020 and 2021 on the transportation sector.
Thank you. The next question I have is, do you have any advice on how small businesses can take advantage of energy efficiency measures?
So as I mentioned, it's a really good time to engage with MassSave right now for an assessment. They're offering a number of enhanced incentive packages as part of their program Restart after the suspension they had during the COVID-19. And I think the providers and the contractors are all eager to get back to work and to support small businesses across the state. So going in for an assessment will help identify those opportunities for efficiency. It provides a number of no-cost, easy-to-install measures and can also lead to recommendations on insulation and HVAC upgrades. So for small businesses who are interested in electrification, one of the things MassSave is launching is prescriptive incentives this summer for heat pumps for small businesses that currently heat with either oil, propane, or electric resistance heating. And so these systems can support more efficient heating and cooling. So that's an opportunity if you're looking for upgrades on the heating side. Businesses can also move forward with tune-ups for air conditioning equipment this summer, which helps save money, and MassSave offers a new energy and systems performance optimization. ESPO program provides incentives for those tune-ups, for retro commissioning, and then for ongoing commissioning of building operations. But these can really help to offset the costs that some businesses may be experiencing due to increased ventilation loads. And that's something that's going on right now because of health concerns. Increasing ventilation is very helpful. And so this is something where I think there's money saving that can be gotten through the MassSave program, specifically around this measure. But would encourage you to sign up as a first step for the no cost assessment, and then to really look towards some of these new programs that are being offered at even better incentive rates than typically.
Yeah, that's right. And the no-cost assessment's perfect, because I remember when we were doing the energy program, a lot of these businesses were able to pay off the improvement in maybe a couple of years and then start saving through each year after that. So that's great. So thank you for expanding on that. The next question we have is, do you see benefits in solar for businesses and homeowners?
So we definitely do. Solar benefits homeowners and businesses by really enabling them to lock into their electricity rates now for the next 10 to 20 or so years. I think this provides a predictable cost for energy, often lower than existing rates. When you switch to solar, it also helps to bring more clean energy to the grid, and that obviously brings down greenhouse gas emissions for the whole state. In terms of our overall electricity generating picture, but reducing emissions on the grid will be vital as we look to further electrify. So I think that there's certainly ways to lock in a better rate, and that's a direct benefit, but also in terms of thinking about the avoided future costs that businesses and homeowners are going to face from climate change. This is a great way to help do that.
Perfect. And then can you describe your experience working on climate change for Massachusetts?
So that's a broad question. I think one of the things that I like to think about when I think about climate change is just the way that the Baker-Polito administration and our secretariat has been able to work on this challenge in such close partnership with businesses and communities. And we've really done that through through a number of different programs, whether it's Green Communities or MassSave or our Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program that focuses on the resiliency end of things. What we've seen again and again has been that there's strong leadership, strong innovation, and so much interest from communities. And when we as a state can partner with communities and businesses to take on this challenge, it becomes a shared effort and a way to not just deal with what I think is going to be sort of the challenge of our generation, but a way to continue to build the strong economy and innovation space we have here in Massachusetts and in the Northeast more broadly. So climate change keeps me up a lot. I think about it a lot. It's something I worry about, but at the same time, I just continue to see the opportunity it provides, whether it's at a place like UMass Lowell that's doing so much work with a great student body to tackle these challenges from an innovation perspective, or it's from a homeowner or resident who's able to install a new energy efficient system and save costs and also know they're contributing to reducing a big challenge. So I think there's a lot of challenge there, a lot of hope, and a lot of opportunity as well. And just can't thank this group enough for the partnership and the interest in this topic.
Thank you. And then the last question we had was, can you please, I know you touched upon this a little bit already, but
yeah.
Can you please provide status on the rollout of commercial PACE in Massachusetts, including integration with smart utility interconnect, net metering, building energy upgrades, and mass development's role in the application?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do expect it to launch this summer. I don't have a firm date on that yet, but we will keep you all apprised of when we think that's coming out. And mass development, as you noted, will be the lead implementer, with our Department of Energy Resources responsible for the technical review of all of the projects. So commercial PACE, what it does is it provides financing for eligible energy efficiency and renewable energy measures, including solar and including renewable thermal. So what's needed first before a business can apply is for a city and town to adopt the program. There are a number that have already adopted, but we definitely expect more cities and towns to adopt once the program launches. And I would note, my team wanted me to point this out, right now there aren't any towns in Merrimack Valley that have adopted. So I would encourage you all to take a look, to talk to the relevant town administrators and select members and make sure you get signed up as the program launches.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. And thank you for taking your time out of the schedule and for your continued leadership in energy and environmental affairs right here in the state of Massachusetts.
Likewise, thank you so much.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over now to our next speaker, Linda Soucy, who's the Residential Low-Income Program Manager for Columbia Gas. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you very much for having me here today. I'd just like to go over a few offers that are available throughout the Merrimack Valley and beyond. So if I could go to the next screen, that would be great. Through Columbia Gas, if you have your heating through Columbia Gas, we have a special offer, as the Secretary had stated before. The incentive will be going through 2021 now. That was just decided on last Friday, and it will be for Lawrence, Andover, and North Andover, and it has to be a heating customer. Like I said, there is no cost installation and air sealing in your home or your small business. So anybody who has a small business can take advantage of this right now. To qualify, you have to first complete a no-cost energy assessment or have had one in the past 2 years. So in order to request an assessment, you just call the number 1-888-895-5014, and I can make this available, the numbers available for you if you'd like. Also, Spanish speakers are available on this phone line. Next slide, please. So other communities in the special offer. So for residential customers that are located in Andover, North Andover, Methuen, Drake, Tewksbury, anywhere across the state that you have a utility involved, we have no cost installation and air sealing for residential customers that is available through July 31st, 2020. So this means that even though we have the other offer for Columbia Gas only heating customers, this is available through MassSave. If you have National Grid, if you have Eversource, Unitil, any one of the utilities across the state, you are eligible as a residential customer to have no cost installation and air sealing in your home as long as you do an assessment by July 31st of 2020. For small business customers, it's the same, except for it's through August 31st of 2020. So as long as you have an assessment by August 31st, your small business is eligible for no-cost installation and air sealing. Like I said before, to qualify, you first has to complete the no-cost energy assessment. And you can request an assessment by calling this number, 866-527-SAVE. Next slide, please. So Columbia Gas virtual energy assessments, due to the response of COVID-19, we have started doing virtual assessments for homes with 1 to 4 units and for small businesses. And that is available by contacting the Columbia Gas number, and we will get somebody out there to do a virtual home energy assessment for you. You can talk to an energy specialist with your smartphone or your iPad or any device that can send a small number of digital photos of your home or your business to them. The photos you provide will help identify the largest savings opportunities, such as improved insulation and more energy efficient heating systems. After the assessment, you will receive an at-home delivery of any identified instant savings measures. For example, LED light bulbs, smart power strips, etc., at no cost to you. There's also zero interest financing available for all residential customers. Next slide, please. We also have a municipal partnership between the City of Lawrence, the City of Methuen, where Columbia Gas and National Grid are both working with the cities, outreaching to residents and businesses to increase their participation in the MassSave program. And we're looking to help them save money and save energy in their small businesses and in their homes. All the outreach is done via community events, social media, water bill inserts, the city websites and communications. And we work closely with both the City of Methuen and the City of Lawrence to get as much information out to the residents as possible to have them participate, especially with the no-cost offers that are available at this time. Next slide, please. Columbia Gas and all other utilities are providing flexible payment arrangements in light of the COVID-19 and the financial struggles that many are facing in our communities. We have no service terminations for non-payments. They have been suspended at this time. We have very flexible payment arrangements, and there are arrearage management plans for low-income customers. As you are aware, the low-income customers are eligible for no-cost energy assessments and no-cost weatherization and other programs, such as if they need a new heating system. That is all at no cost to the low-income customers. In order to be a low-income customer, you must be on the discount rate, and then we are able to help you. So if you receive WIC, you receive food stamps, you receive fuel assistance. This all puts you on the discount rate for both National Grid and for Columbia Gas. And there are arrearage management programs available to you, where if you have a past bill, we can work with you if you are on the discount rate to forgive some of those funds. For the payment plans through Columbia Gas, you call 1-800-688-6160. And all other Massachusetts utilities, like I said, are also offering this bill paying help, and are also have service terminations for non-payment suspended at this time. Next slide, please. Well, we are done. If anybody would like to contact me, my phone number to reach me on my cell phone is 978-536-1854. Again, that's 978-536-1854. If I can help you to arrange a in-home energy audit or a virtual audit, whatever it takes, just give me a call. If you have any questions about low-income programs, I can help you with that also. And if you're a landlord who has tenants, we can also help you. So please give me a call and we'll work to help you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to the Chamber for all the good work that you do in the community. And I wanted to thank the Secretary and also Dave from National Grid for participating in this program today. It's a great program. I've been attending for many years now. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate all your support, Linda, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to present today as well. We appreciate that. I'm now going to turn it over to our final speaker of the day, David Gendall, who's the Customer and Community Manager of National Grid. Thank you, David.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right.
I can see you as well.
Yeah, there you go. And my screen, I think I've got my screen up there. Is able to see that too?
Ryan, can you see the screen fine?
I can't see your screen. I can see your mouse moving. I just can't see the PowerPoint.
Huh.
Do you want to go down to share content again and try picking a different screen?
Yeah, I'm looking for that right now.
So it should be the icons down below.
Yeah. Joe Morocco, is there any chance you can put the screen up? Let's see here. I got it on my laptop here, Rayanne, and I don't know exactly why I'm not.
Yeah, we saw it before.
Well, listen, on the matter of, just for the sake of time, I know we're running late here. Why don't I just give you a quick update? I really had just 2 slides to work off of. And, you know, the whole concept here was, so we were going to talk a little bit about the path forward and would echo some of the remarks of the Secretary made earlier today. And I just wanted, before I even get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much to the Merrimack Valley Chamber. They've been so supportive of our work in the energy field with National Grid. And for all of our customers that we work with every day, and the membership here at the Chamber has been great. And also, it's a pleasure to work with Eversource as we, you know, they assume the Columbia Gas territory up there. And Linda, I look forward to working closely with you as well. A couple of quick things I want to make comments on the coronavirus is just the challenges that we've had lately, and everybody's had these challenges. We get it. But we got 17,000 employees in the US, and right now we've got about 8,000 of those people working remotely. And that has been a significant challenge for our IT department. And along with that, we've done some pretty innovative things, I think, probably typical of all utilities. But one of the things that we did very early on is that we no longer have our crews, field people reporting to local, like Malden and Beverly and Amesbury and North Andover. We broke up everybody into smaller groups, and they report to a lot of our smaller locations, substations around the North Shore and Merrimack Valley, just to keep anybody that contacts the contracts the coronavirus. You know, if we get any contact between workers, we end up having to quarantine quite a few people, and that becomes an issue. So we've kept that down to an absolute minimum. We've implemented daily system checks with all of our crews, mandatory system checks, and we're all about the strict adherence to, if you can't maintain 6 feet of clearance between your coworkers, then you have to wear the mask. We're all about promoting that, and if there's any local bylaw or mandate for the local community to wear the mask at all times, then we'll comply with that as well. So it's been a really, really challenging time, but I think we've been able to keep everything going. We were identified very early as a critical business, so we kept with a lot of our emergency work, obviously, and then some planned work as long as we stayed outside of customer residences. And then as we went a little further along, we had last week we started a program where we're entering customers' homes, and again, if we're in compliance with all of those issues as well. And I think Joe's bringing our screen up right now, so huge thank you to Joe on that. So I'm on the coronavirus slide right now, and I just want to say also the same as what my counterparts over at Eversource and other utilities are doing is that we've backed off any collections type issues with customers and are working with them on flexible payment schedules and just trying to be as compliant and understanding as we can during this very difficult time. So that's kind of gives you a little sense of what's going on the coronavirus side and what we're doing. And what I want to spend just 2 minutes on or 3 minutes on, and I really was joking. Can we go to the next slide? Well, maybe I have to. Maybe I can advance that over. I don't think we can. Well, I don't know if you can push that over to the next slide, the final slide, Joe. But what I wanted to talk a little bit about here, and this is a subject that we really need to get together as a group because we need everybody's input into what needs to happen. This whole National Grid Northeast decarbonization pathway, one of the things that I want to emphasize is that National Grid embraces the whole science of climate change and has really been at the table for any discussions on this particular issue. We take it very, very seriously. We work very closely with the Secretary and the Governor on trying to do everything we can to push this issue as well. And the way we see it, and I think the way the Secretary would see it as well, and a lot of the stuff reflects exactly what she was talking about, there's three major areas that we're looking at here: power, transportation, and heat. These are the three challenge areas. And originally, the idea was to get to 80-50 was our original program, and we've since revised it. It was supposed to be 80% reductions in emissions by the year 2050, but obviously, with a lot of things, we've made a lot of changes to that, and now we're committed to 100% zero carbon reduction by that time. And we're going to do our part to do this. And it's a big undertaking because it involves everybody. So just to give you a sense of what needs to happen in the power field, for us to attain a 40% reduction by 2030, which is our next milestone, we need a significant, 67% zero carbon electrical supply. Now, this is based on 1990 baseline. So just to give you a sense of where we are right now, we're about 50%. Where in 2017, we were at 45%. We gained a lot of ground here when a lot of the coal-fired facilities were converted over to natural gas or shut down. So we saw a pretty good reduction in the carbon reduction from the power plants. If you look over to what we need to do in 2050 on the slide, we really need to be pushing large-scale renewables. And we're doing a good job on this now. We're doing a lot of things. We're incentivizing this and offering customers financial incentives to move forward. But we're talking wind, solar, hydro, any of these kinds of things. We're going to need a lot more of those to subsidize this portfolio going forward. And then we've got to look at, who would have ever thought we would be thinking about nuclear power as a possible source? Obviously hydro and any of the carbon capture technologies that we have on the gas side are going to be welcome additions to helping us meet these kind of reductions. I want to jump down at transportation because this is the big one. As Bob Dylan one time taught us in his lyrics, the times are a-changing, and we are certainly seeing this on the transportation side. For us to get to 40% reduction, we've got to, as a society, as a group here in the Northeast, we've got to get into the whole electric vehicle, embrace this whole technology. We need to have as many as 10 million out there. Now, a lot of things have changed here, which maybe for the good out of the whole COVID virus issue is we've done a lot of work now from home, and people are learning that maybe we don't need to have as many cars on the street. We can reduce that whole transportation piece quite a bit, but we're definitely going to have to move away from the kind of vehicles that we drive today. And I will just say that if you're not in the market for a electric vehicle, you probably will be in the next 10 years. With the incentives that are out there, with the reduction in cost as they learn more about the manufacturing efficiencies, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen that's going to drive us. You can see on the second column, if we really want to get, up into deep decarbonization by 2050, this industry is going to take off. And you're just going to see a ton. Also notice there's the improvements that we're going to need in the aviation and shipping fields as well, what they call more heavy duty type vehicles. And then the last area that I just want to touch on briefly, and this is a hot topic these days because there's a lot of interest in this field for obvious reasons, but there's also, folks tend to want to jump quickly to a solution where the solution can cause other problems, and you've got to be aware of that too. But we're going to need to really double down on our energy efficiency retrofits, do a lot more along that field, which ties into what the Secretary was suggesting. We need to do a lot more oil to gas heating conversions and scale up the oil to electric heating conversions as well. I mean, I think with the insulation values that they require on new construction today, one would have to look very closely at a heat pump and the heat pump technology. But that needs to fit the need of the customer, the location, what the availability is, the type of construction that they have, and how that technology continues to improve. And then my last point on the lower corner, and again, I'd love to spend some more time on these things, is what's going to be required in the heat section to really get us down to the point where we can, as we call it, deep decarbonization. And these require a lot of explanation, so I won't get into it too heavily. But a lot of these things we've got pilot programs out in, we're working on it. Some we've actually got implemented, especially some of these things around using capturing various forms of gases, methanes, and whatnot from waste materials, and then recycling those into the system. Hydrogenated, adding hydrogen to the gas. I mean, my understanding is you can add up to 20% hydrogen to our own natural gas system, and there'd be no need for the customer to convert anything at their house at that point. It will still burn efficiently. So lots of things to talk about here. I know we're right up against the hour, so I'll leave it at that. I want to thank Joe and Mike at the Chamber and their staff for always supporting us and always being behind what's going on in the energy business, and really for offering this kind of forum. And we hope to do it again in the future. But I promise to come back and talk to you a little bit more in depth about this. So with that, why don't I turn it back to you, Michael?
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate your leadership with National Grid and everything that you and your team does. So thank you again for being such a big supporter of this program and energy in general. I want to thank everyone again for joining us today. I want to thank the Secretary. I want to thank Linda Soucy and Dave Gendall for great presentations today. And I want to thank our sponsors again, Columbia Gas of Massachusetts, All Pro Electric, National Grid, and the Merrimack Valley Chamber Means Business Program. But thank you all again. We will have another program in the future. We look forward to seeing you then. And again, you can find out more about the Chamber and our programs and services at merrimackvalleychamber.com. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.